Hi, how do you feel about sunlight? Does it have a negative effect or it has a positive effect? I think the sun has a lot of positive effect on our lives. I can understand how many people concerned about skin cancer and they're afraid of sun because of this message pushed by media from the marketing team of the beauty industry and the pharmaceutical company who wants us to buy more supplement, more sunscreen, more beauty product. On the other hand, I have many personal experiences and observation how canceling sun exposure leads to the depression, lack of energy, and other negative effect. I'm from St. Petersburg, as you know, and we have about 30 days of sunlight there during the year. And when I didn't have a chance to go on vacation south, I felt very sick and very depressed, and I had a lot of respiratory diseases. So I love sunshine and I believe in sunshine. And today I would like to persuade my classmate to accept and embrace the sunlight as their friend because it's offer many long-term benefits to all of us. I would like to show you how the negative effect of canceling sun from our life can affect our health, and then I show you how the positive effect is good for us, how it helps us to produce vitamin D, how it's helped us to fight heart diseases, how it's helped with a lot of many other diseases. And I hope that you can see for yourself how to accept sun in a way it's safe and beneficial for us. Negative press is a guerrilla tactic that many marketing teams use for the big companies. According to sunlightinstitute.org, SunScare, the beauty industry increased this emphasis on the proper sun care since 1980s. While the core message itself, says Dr. Sorensen, is teaching behind the sun care is legitimate and necessary, much of the recent discussion about sun care falls in the category of overstated hyperbole, of which we call sun scare. Long-term negative effect of avoiding sun is deficits of vitamin D, heart diseases, and mental condition. Vitamin D is very important element to human body. And our skin is a major organ which produces vitamin D in contact with UV light and the healthy diet. According to the Dr. Sorensen in the article on medicaldaily.com, sun exposure, sunshine is the only natural and intended source of vitamin D on the planet. Bone density is highly affected by the deficiency of vitamin D. Historically, sunlight was used to treat children with rickets, and also research shows that bone density affected by sun exposure. According to the medical research which published on academic.oup.com, the average bone density of a tanner is much higher than the non-tanner. It's very important, the sun exposure very important for elderly people because it's helped to reduce risk of a hip fracture and patients with Alzheimer and Parkinson's disease and also strokes. Sun deprivation also create low level of vitamin D, which might trigger serious diseases such as MS, many varieties of cancer, including breast cancer and prostatic cancer. It's also proven that in people who has a high tolerance to the sun, using exposure to sun help to prevent from melanoma. And it was published in the medical research on a pubmed.nsbi and lhm.gov. One of the benefits of sunlight is to fight heart disease. According to Richard Weller, there are many, and he's a dermatologist, British dermatologist, there are much more death from the heart disease than from skin cancer. According to Dr. Weller, on his web talk, he shows the diagrams and graphics, and he shows how UV light helps us to produce the nitric oxide that dilute the blood vessels and help to reduce blood pressure and prevent the heart stroke. According to the All About Depression, exposure to sunlight helps us to fight depression. Depression is one of the leading cases of suicide. According to All About Depression.com, 15% of those who are depressed dies by suicide. According to WebMD, sunlight may increase level of natural antidepressant in our brain because studies show that brain produce much more mood-lifting chemical serotonin on sunny days than on gloomy days. It's very important to understand and use sunlight responsibly. Even CDC on www.cdc.gov, sun exposure, it's also recommended by World Health Organization to have a sun exposure at least 5 to 15 minutes and at least 2 to 3 times a week. While exposed to sun, people should understand with sunlight there is different rays of sunlight. There is UVA, there is UVB. It's the major one which help us to produce vitamin D, and there is UVC. UVC mostly in used in the medical office, in the gyms to sanitize against viruses and bacteria, but with sun, UVC rays hardly ever reach the earth. The skin type we human have, it's from skin type 1 to skin type 6, where 1 is should not be exposed at all, fair skin, and there is a level 6 which is high tolerance and also a good vitamin D production. Did you know that eating a healthy omega-3 rich foods and also antioxidant rich food such as berries help you to create your natural sunscreen, and it helps you to prevent you from sunburns? This is outlined in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, which talks about how omega-3 fish oil help us protect from against sun damage and bolster immunity. As I mentioned before, control exposure helps also build the base tan, which serves as a natural defense against sunburn. According to the same medical research on NCBI and LMH.gov, the study shows that the clear relation between reported sunburn and overall melanoma risk over holiday exposure with sunburn contribute to possibility of melanoma, while for the non-sun sensitive individual, regular moderate exposure may protect from melanoma. While using the sunscreen, when you're protecting yourself from sun, be sure that you use one FDA approved because it protects you from different variety of rays. Also, you should remember that sunscreen is not always your friend. Number one, it's block your natural vitamin D production. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, it's if you apply sunscreen, you reduce vitamin production by 95%. Also, sunscreen has a really negative effect on nature. According to ABC News, sunscreen pollution affect not just the corals, but potentially all organisms living in coral reefs by exposing that toxic element from all the tourists who swim in the ocean. And overall, we are all overloaded with amount of information we hear every day, and it's very important to go through it and understand what is really truth behind. While learning about sunlight, please go to reliable resources. Also, ask your doctor educated questions. Ask what kind of type of skin you have, what is your vitamin D level, how it affects your health, how we control sun exposure can help to boost your health naturally. Also, just to compare, how do you feel when you're sitting all day in the office or in a class and then you come out in the sun? And does it give you a boost of energy? Does it make you feel when the sun caresses and the warmth spreads through your body? Do you really believe that counseling the sun is something you want to do? To sum up, there is always a way of danger of skin cancer from overexposure to sun or any other exposures such as alcohol, overeating, overdosing, oversleeping. The media and marketing teams will always use human fear and human emotion as a tool to make us buy more of something. Remember, sun is an essential element of our lives, and it's helped us fight diseases in a natural way. The secret to healthy life is moderation, and you should use sunlight in moderation. Please embrace sunlight as your friend. Thank you.